Peace, fam. What's up? It's your brother Cool. Enjoying some uh, chai tea with some naturally cleansed water and apple cider vinegar. Really good for the insides. Um, it's pretty early, about 12 on a Tuesday. So today's video, I want to up the ante. Plus, I've been kind of MIA for a little bit. It's been about a week or so. I've been getting my mom prepared for a court case I got coming up on Wednesday in regards to driving. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta go deal with a private entity because they're requesting for payment in fiat notes. So logically, according to the Clearfield Doctrine, any entity that assumes right the position of government, but yet for some weird reason uh, decides to ask you or charge the person responsible with the liability and things of that nature. And then they ask you for payment in, Federal Reserve notes, FRNs. FRNs, Federal Reserve notes. I don't know if you can read right here. The camera. See that? I want you to see that right here. This writing. If y'all can catch that, good. But I'm gonna read it for y'all in case y'all can't. Pull out your own damn note, right? It's $1. Know what I'm saying? If you play close attention, you'll realize that's the circle 7. But what that line says is, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Public and private. Private and public. There goes those two words again. There goes those two words again. Public, private. And I'm not nervous, more so anxious. I can't stand court. I'd rather get this shit over with so I can move the hell on with the rest of my life. Anyway, kind of been brushing back through the basics. Kind of get so caught up in, being myself that it's always a good, thing to go back over the basics as a refresher, right? So let's go over the basics. So I want you to just slow down, just breathe with me. That was the realest thing I've done all day. Take full deep breaths. So, in understanding the basics, right? Let's get back to the basics. Who are we? Who are you? Who am I? What am I? What am I made out of? What are you made out of? What are our enemies made out of? What are their intentions? What causes them to think the way they think, right? What causes us to think the way we think? So let's get down to the root of it. The motherfucking root of everything. Where do you live? I live in this temple. This is my temple. You see? This is Allah. Arm, leg, arm, head. I'm gonna do that one more time. Arm, leg, arm, head. A-L-L-A-H. That's Allah. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So this is the temple of God. And it is my responsibility and my duty to till the earth and make sure that I uphold this temple of God, both internally and externally. Right? And if I don't do so, I'm the one that's got to live in this shell for the time being. So nobody else got to suffer in this body except for me. And so going back to nature, like, who are you? Are you human first, or are you spirit first? Are you breath? Are you the thing that can't be seen? The only reason you can see me is because you can see my avatar. Other than that, you wouldn't even know we were in the same dimension. Right? If I didn't have this vehicle that was recognizable. Because honestly, at the end of the day, we're all just light. Different angles of light. Right? Like a quartz. Like a clear quartz. We're just light. You know what I'm saying? These are what the eyes are made out of. The eyes are made out of clear quartz. So is the pineal gland. Third eye is also made out of clear quartz. Alright, so there's a lot more to these things than just, oh, they look nice. You gotta know what they do, what they bring to the table, and how they can help you get your job accomplished. But they won't do the job for you, right? Good. So, that being said, we are divine beings. We are natural beings. We are spiritual beings, all here having a human existence. A human existence. And if you fail to honor your ancestors, then you do not qualify for a human existence. What you qualify for is the existence of a foul creature, abomination, someone who is unwanted, a vagabond, a stateless person. That's the life that is waiting for you if you do not honor your ancestors. I done lived that life pretty good amount of time. I really don't want to see where it leads, because I could see it, and it leads nowhere fast. Actually, it leads nowhere fast. And so knowing ourselves is the most important thing, period, to our existence. It's knowing ourselves. And if we don't know ourselves, then someone else can tell us who we are. Someone else can tell us how we eat. Someone else can tell us how we think. Someone else can tell us what we've done throughout history. And someone else can tell us how we function, which wouldn't make any goddamn sense. So, in this day and age, the age of Aquarius, right? The age of being who you are and living in the truth. Because if you living in the shadows, there ain't much space to hide anymore. So, with that being said, cannot continue to stress enough the importance of having a trust. I cannot express or stress um, the amount of pressure I don't have to deal with. You know, there's a lot of things that comes along with using a social security card in today's society, and I'm living proof that it is not necessary to work. You can work your 9 to 5, whatever, your 40 hours, your part-time. You can work and work without using those instruments that don't belong to you. Right? So the reason why I have been able for the past two plus years to function and operate commercially without the encumbrance of taxes or any type of other fees, you know what I'm saying, that foreigners may try to put on upon the Aboriginal peoples of the land. Trust covers a lot of things. Trust deads a lot of conversations that you would normally have to have in terms of explaining. Don't really gotta explain shit when it comes to trust. You know, it's about speaking these agencies' language, and the language that they comprehend is documents. So if they can't comprehend where you're coming from, that means you ain't using the proper document. Because if you use the proper document, what you will find to confirm that you're using the right document is you ain't have to say a goddamn thing. That's when you know you're using the right document, when you ain't got to say a goddamn thing and everything gets done how you want it done. So operating through my trust, right, as an example, I don't have to deal with Social Security. I don't got to deal with federal. I don't got to deal with state. I don't got to deal with excise. I don't got to deal with sales tax. Because Indians are not taxed. Although in an aspect of nature we are not Indians, and this sure as hell ain't India. But in the reference, 2017 that we're going to use, Indians, misnomered Moors, all right, the Aboriginal peoples of this continent, the Aboriginal peoples of the Maghreb. So knowing who you are, like I said, there are certain advantages. There are certain things in place that only you can utilize being an Aborigine, and if you don't use it, you don't use it. But the crazy part is if you don't use it, someone else can, and 9 times out of 10 someone else will. So why not use your own inheritance for your own benefit rather than let foreigners come and claim to be something that they're clearly not? So you got to understand too that in order for Europeans to claim our birthright, they had to give up their own birthright, meaning they themselves had to go in dishonor. So 2 wrongs don't make a right. So the only way to really fix this ship is to get yourself back in proper standing in law. And being a black or colored person or African American, even Hispanic or Latino, does not give you adequate standing in law. Asians will have a better chance in court than you will. The Jews will have a better chance in court than you will. White people will have a better chance in court than we will. Native Hawaiian Islander, Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander will have a better chance in court than we will. An American Indian will have a better chance in court than we will, because everyone except for Hispanic Latinos and blacks and African Americans have origins in people. Blacks and African Americans and Hispanic and Latinos are the only 2 classes of people who do not, I repeat, the only 2 classes of people who do not have origins in people. And if you don't have origins in people, you ain't got origins in people, meaning that you can't be a part of any constitutional conversation. Because Because if you're talking about Constitution, you're talking about people, and if you're not one of the people, then you're not obviously not a party to the Constitution. Okay? So, that being said, trust alleviates a lot of stress. If we only knew how to operate through trust, operate all our jobs, we'd be able to work, not have to worry about taxes, not have to worry about Social Security, taxes, and all these other encumbrances that ain't got nothing to do, or you're not obligated to deal with lawfully. But however, the Constitution cannot interfere with how you contract. So if you don't know how to contract and you get into a bad contract constitutionally, the Constitution can't help you because it can't interfere with your ability to contract, even if it's to your own detriment. Which is why it's extremely important that niggas know how to read. Niggas take their time how to read, and niggas give a fuck to read contracts that they're signing within their life, because you don't know what type of effect a contract can have. With that being said, when you are truly operating properly within this said system, there's certain things you're going to see, like patterns that you see everyone kind of sets up in a certain way to protect themselves. One of the patterns I have noticed is that when it comes to trust, like me particularly, I did this without even realizing I did this, to be honest with you, but I created a trust between two entities which I created. One, a foreign entity, and the other being a domestic entity created as a subsidiary underneath my foreign trust. So it also has immunities, but it's a domestic entity. I use that for public purposes, work, subcontracting, tax exemption, things like that. That's when I use my entity. And like I said, it saves me a lot of heartache. Everything I do through my trust, and there's no questions asked. When you have a trust, you lock everyone out that you don't want into your trust. So having certain protections aside, I'm going into this case tomorrow, Wednesday, knowing the fact that my car was within my trust. So, this is in the forefront of my head that I am, when I come in on Wednesday, that I am the owner. I'm the beneficiary, you know what I'm saying, of my property. And so if anyone is claiming to put a lien on my property, their lien cannot supersede my lien. First in line, first in time. And if I created my own trust, there is no one other than me who can supersede me in my trust. This is the law of trust law, and trust law puts you in a position that we as black people have not been in for quite some time now, maybe in about almost 300 years, and that position is ownership. Believe it or not, segregation was some of our best days in terms of us having our own shit and owning our own shit. Alright? When we kind of wanted to hold hands and sing Kumbaya for everyone, we kind of got lost in the sauce. We lost our way, and here we are today in 2017 trying to clean up issues that should have been cleaned up almost 105 years ago. But because we've had traitors and infiltration within our own, it has made it very difficult. Like, even for me, coming up in Moorish science, it was very hard for me to trust any Moors. Even if they had great information, it was very hard for me to pick up the phone and call someone, or even write someone, ask them questions. I didn't have that luxury, when I was coming up in this school of thought. You know, Taj Tariq Bey was the man that woke me up. He woke me up about 5 years ago. No, actually, I say he woke me up. He woke me up about 7, 8 years ago because I saw one driver's license fraud. I seen that video 3 years prior to me moving out here, and so when I saw that video again out when I came out here, it took me some time to realize that I had seen this video before. And when I was in New York and I watched that video completely flew over my head. Only thing that kept me intrigued about that video was the fact of Taj's headdress he had on his fez. And for me, I'm looking at it like, what is this, some type of Muslim thing? But for some, they're talking about law. And certain things intrigue me, like dealing with the IRS letter. Getting a letter from the IRS and how to respond and deal with it without shitting on yourself. These things intrigue me, and they were like real time remedies for shit that we go through on a daily basis. It's like, yo, that was the first time where I was like, yo, we have control. And that's what pulled me into more science and Islam. It was the first time where I actually saw that there was a space within that school of thought that I could control for my own benefit, as long as I put the work in. So that's what I did. I put the work into myself. I invested into myself. Make sure that my mind is fresh and it's sharp and it's ready. You know what I'm saying? To deal with whatever comes my way. So like I said, the biggest issue with me after once I did nationalize, like I said, there wasn't no process put together in terms of trust. I've heard about trust in the state, but no one really explained or broke down a process on how to do that. So I had to dig on my own. And once I came across Ron March and Jonah Bay video, EIN, foreign EIN. And Jonah Bay went through that, he went through it step by step in how to create a trust and have an EIN assigned to it, a foreign EIN, and how to operate. So I watched that video maybe 4 or 5 times, and then I pursued my own EIN. I got it. And, once I got it, I realized that, I had taken a step towards my eventual goal. But, I wasn't nowhere near there. But it's because I was forced to figure it out on my own that I now have a template. You know what I'm saying? A process to help people transition into leaning off the titty of the United States, because that is an artificial titty. All right, that is a robotic titty. That is not a natural titty, and it ain't pumping us full of organic things. It's pumping us full of GMO things to keep us distracted, things that are not truthful, things that are all lies. So, what you are and what you watch and what you listen to, all that is a part of your diet as well. It's not just about what you're consuming with your mouth. You know what I'm saying? So, even in that same breath, just cannot emphasize enough the importance. Like, you could nationalize, You could nationalize, but if you don't have a trust in place, you know what I'm saying, in your free national name, you need to have a trust in place. For all those people who done read the Peace Treaty of 1786, talking about the Peace Treaty this and Peace Treaty that, how many of y'all read the Ordinance of 1787? That states, you know what I'm saying, where all estates must be bequeathed in will and in writing, meaning the only way to have a claim or right to our vast estate on North America is to have your own individual estate within the vast estate known as the Moorish Empire. So just imagine that the Moorish Empire is different tribes, different cliques, different sets. You know what I'm saying? And each set has their own individual estate, meaning their own tribal grounds, where they get water, where they hunt, where they do their rituals. Each tribe had their own estate. And each estate was a part of the grand estate, which is the Moorish Empire. So the Moorish Empire was literally every Aboriginal's estate accumulated together. But on an individual basis, we each had our own estate. You know what I'm saying? So having a trust, an estate, a will, in writing, on the record, bequeathing the properties you have, putting them into your trust and making sure they're secured for your future heirs to come. That's what it means to be part of the Moorish Holy Science Temple of America. Excuse me for the pause there, but I wanted to get it right. So if you're a national but yet you don't have a trust in place, you ain't do shit. The trust is the most important part of your estate. Your trust is your estate, and if you don't have a will in writing, you don't have a trust. Okay? And this is what it boils down to. We've been so dumbed down in school to where the most important thing living on this earth, housing. We've never had classes. We've never had any classes on housing, on real estate, on even how to fortify a home, how to build a home, how to add things to it. Everybody needs a home on this planet. But why was it not emphasized in school? The most crucial, basic need of every human being. This is because we weren't meant to have this information. The system didn't mean for me to know what I know today. The system had no intention of me knowing what I know today, nor did it have any intention on showing me what I'm due. They had no intention because they've been living off of my dues. They've been living off of my virtues, and they've been living off of my ignorance. Because our ancestors were hard-ass workers. You know what I'm saying? So this is what brings things into perspective for me. So to truly be part of the Moorish Empire, you must have an estate. If you don't have an estate, you have not fully tied yourself back to the Moorish Empire. You have not fully tied yourself back to the Moorish Empire. You need to do that ASAP. Alright, because if you don't have a trust in place, then everything that you think you own is still considered public property. If you have property and you don't put it in a trust, it's public property still. It doesn't become private property until you put it in a trust. Until you assign that deed to that property to your trust. That is when, and that is only when, you have secured that property in what you call a perfected claim, or fee simple, or allodial, right? An allodial title. What is an allodial title? When you own something free and clear of any debt. Meaning I have a car, I don't pay any car note on it, it's within my trust, it's there to be used. I own that car in allodium. And so, like I said, not having a trust, like I said, just me being able to do what I've been able to do in these past two plus years with my trust, it's way more easier than using a social. You know, like anything, when you've been taught how to do a certain thing for a certain amount of time, it's going to take a while for your brain to detox from that pattern or from that habit. But once you get into trust, it's so easy. It is so easy. You know, because you got people here that spend, and I feel sorry for some of our brothers and sisters, and even some Caucasian people, people of all nationalities, who go and spend thousands and thousands and thousands of notes. You know what I'm saying? Thousands of notes to get information, uh, to know these things, you know, to start a business. And I've created more than, I've created over, it has been at least over 50. I'd say at least over 45 to 50 different type of entities, ranging from LLCs to unincorporated associations to trusts. You know what I'm saying? To even corporations. I've created a vast amount of entities for people, and I have to say it's crazy. You know, the feeling of being a owner, right? Because we're doing business. So rather than me go into the system and capture a straw man, I just created my own straw man from scratch. This is how I have full ownership and copyrights to that entity, because I came up with it from scratch the same way I created my free national name from scratch. And when I filed it on the public record, that also became my copyright for my free national name in terms of doing commerce. So everything I produce outside of Cool Mare Su El, I own. And all the entities that have been produced outside of Cool Mare Su El, I own. So, you know, it's a different feeling going in and speaking from one owner to another owner. You know, like, what are you? Oh, I'm the CEO, or I'm the heir of this estate, or I'm the CEO of this business. It's a different feeling. It's a different feeling. And the way business people approach you is different, because they see that you move different. You're not moving like a consumer. You move like a producer, a job creator. That doesn't necessarily mean you are creating jobs for other people. You can create jobs and opportunities for yourself through your own trust. You know what I'm saying? I offer consultation, private consultation, and soon I'll be having full-fledged online classes. You know what I'm saying? This is coming out of my vessel. Therefore, I own it. You know what I'm saying? This is part of my estate as well. One of the things I want to leave within my estate is a school. I want to leave a school, and I'm not one of those people who are going to be like, hey, you know, send in donations. I'm trying to build a school, and I need thousands of dollars to build a school. I don't. If you want to donate, to the purpose, please feel free. Um, you know what I'm saying? And if you feel you wish to donate to help me build the school that I'm talking about, and I ain't talking about no big building. I'm just talking about grabbing a small little piece of land, maybe build a nice little house, and construct that house into a school. It's not difficult. Don't need to go all big on. We could keep it real small, real low key, real simple, and still get way more done. Way more done. So, you know, if like I said, if supporting the purpose of the school is something you wish from your own heart, you know what I'm saying? Feel free. But one way or another, this school's gonna get built. You know what I'm saying? With your help or not. Because that's just my energy that's gonna put this shit into practice. But like I said, if it's something that you wish to help donate, please feel free to donate. You can hit me up on PayPal. Currently, I haven't changed the account as yet, but currently the account for PayPal, the email is regijulles@gmail.com. I repeat, if you want to donate and help with the construction of this school, you know what I'm saying? And mind you, school is such a powerful thing. School doesn't, this is why I say I'm not really focused on it being a building. School can be on the move. You don't got to be, you know, you don't got to be in a standstill position, or you don't got to be still or in or somewhere to be in school. School's everywhere. School is everywhere. And so my mentality is everywhere you go is going to be school. You know what I'm saying? And with that mentality, it's easy to put a curriculum together. It's easy to, to um, build it. And then let those who will come. My job was to build it. I built it. I'm still building it. Well, I got a lot of things to build. That's just one of the things I'm building. So once again, if you want to hit me up on PayPal just to donate and support me, regijulles@gmail.com. And so trust. There will be no reason to file taxes if you got paid all your money. If you got paid all your money, there's no need to file taxes. It's just different ways of operating and functioning. It's like thinking outside of what we've been taught to think. Once again, if you go back in the thought process of a social security, whenever you hear tax identification number, first thing that comes to mind is a social security. But a social is one version of a tax identification number. You have an EIN, that's another version. You know what I'm saying? So for my estates, I have EINs. Employer identification numbers, not employee, employer, creator, employer, the master. The employee is the slave. The employee is the trustee. The employee takes orders. And then the employee receives assets or funds or resources from the grantor, which would be your boss. You know what I'm saying? So this is why it's crucial, extremely crucial, to have a good foundation in trust law. And there's so many different ways to wrap your mind around trust law. The most basic way for me is to just put it in the aspect of what a family is. You got three parties in a family. You got the mother, you got the father, and you got the child. Grantor, trustee, beneficiary. Okay? Grantor, trustee, beneficiary. Mother, father, child. Now, the reason why we follow the women in terms of the inheritance is because a woman produces a man and a woman. You know what I'm saying? A woman produces a man and a woman. So a man comes from a woman. I am what my mother is. My father is what his mother was. And you, as a man, are what your mother is. Not your father. Because your father is what his mother is. You get the drift? So if the woman is the X, there's no reason to trace back to the Y, because the Y itself comes from the X. So if you focus on the X, we could just erase all that extra bullshit. Get right to the point, right to the nitty gritty. The woman carries the inheritance, period. You know what I'm saying? So being able to work and operate and have a job and save and open up a bank account, you can do all of these things with a trust. It's just a question of, are you willing to put the time and effort to be able to manifest? Because I've been studying hard since like 2012. And like I said, I've been able to function for the past 2+ years. But it took me a first 2.5 just to get my mind wrapped around what the fuck I'm doing. Then I was able to step out and actually start doing it. And even while I was doing it, I was bumping my head and making mistakes. So I also learned from bumping my head. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, some goodie. So Fidel coupon. Anyway, so if you don't have a trust in place, you don't have any rights to ownership, and this goes into the UCC thing. You know what UCC is not what people are explaining it to be. UCC is based on a uniform way of conduct when it comes to business between different entities and even different people. One thing you must always have in mind is that whenever there's an entity, there will always be a natural person running that entity. So for instance, if you were to see AIM, right? RU Indigenous Moorish Sovereign Trust. That's the name of my trust. So everyone who sees that entity knows that there is a human being behind that entity, a competent human being of sound mind operating it. Moi. Now there would be no need for anyone to know that unless I'm dealing with legal matters. No one would need to know who's the owner of the trust, who's the benefit of, who's the beneficiary of the trust. Nobody would need to know that. Gotta love the sativa, by the way. I love the head high. It makes me think more. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of, man, get your mind wrapped around trust. If you can comprehend trust, you will comprehend everything about this game on Monopoly. Everything. Nothing will fly over your head. You will have such a clear comprehension and grasp of any type of system, you know what I'm saying, that's being used, because every system is using the same principle, trust. They're just calling things differently. You know what I'm saying? So within my particular trust, in terms of UCC, right, secured party creditor, first off, I want to set some things straight. I think there was one video, I did on, UCC versus nationality, no competition. And one of my brothers on there, his name is Tex Mason. He got on there. He's a UCC whiz. You know what I'm saying? And as man evolves, his God evolves. So I'm never the type of person who will not give credit to where credit is due. You know what I'm saying? And won't give props, or who won't like I said, who won't give credit where credit's due. And I gotta give credit to my brother Tex Mason. I must admit, there's a lot of things about UCC I don't agree in terms of how a lot of these other people put it out there. But I have to admit that the way Tex is giving out the information in regards to nationality, he's the only brother I've seen out here that's even talking about nationality and UCC. You know what I'm saying? Everything I've seen has always either been one or the other. Either you find a brother talking about nationality, or you find a brother talking about UCC. You'll never find him talking about them both. And I gotta give him a lot of credit for that. And he has some dope ideas and blueprints. You know what I'm saying, in terms of secure party creditor. But everyone gravitates towards what they gravitate towards. But respect to that brother right there, because I see him putting in that work. So that's love to you, bro. Real shit. And and so the way I've set up my particular UCC, right? Ooh, UCC. What I've done is I have a private or a foreign entity, right? And that foreign entity is created outside of the United States in regards to taxes. So if you want to figure out how taxes work, I would advise you to read United States Code Title 26. Just to give you a good place to start, I would start off at Section 3121E, and that is definitions. And so in regards to taxes, federal taxes, state taxes, etc., etc., you'll know what the United States is geographically according to taxes. And according to Section 3121E, taxes in the United States geographically is Puerto Rico territory, Puerto Rico Corporation, Guam Corporation, Virgin Island Corporation, and American Samoa Corporation. That's what United States means when it comes to taxes. So for everyone who's paying federal taxes, Social Security taxes, and even state taxes, those monies or notes or your energy or pieces of your soul are going to Puerto Rico Corporation, Guam Corporation, Virgin Island Corporation, and American Samoa Corporation. This is why Trump was saying you don't pay taxes. He know what he was talking about. Alright? Because taxation without representation is unconstitutional. And it's a major violation of the Zodiac Constitution. Article 3. Tax and military exemption. So there's a reason why things are in place. You know what I'm saying? And the more studies you do, the more godly you become. Because the more you remember, the more shit you remember. For instance, what we call notes today, or fiat, the fucked up part about it is, this is a 20, right? This is 1. You know these are both $1, right? They're both $1. And they both cost the same amount to make. They're both 1. It's one note. One says 20, one says 1. It costs the same amount to make both of these. Meaning it costs the same amount to make a 50. It costs the same amount to make 100. You know what I'm saying? This is why this holds no value. It's just as equivalent as this. But if you go into Constitution, only gold and silver is money. Only gold and silver. Only gold and silver. Silver protects from electromagnetic waves. It protects from microorganisms and germs. Also protects from flu and cough. And this is real money. This is an ounce of silver. So this is what you would call constitutional money. Alright? This is real money. This is the element of the moon. The moon's element is silver, and the sun's element is gold. Okay? And water carries a current, which is why we call these currency. You get it? Current, currency, meaning electricity. Silver conducts electricity. Water conducts electricity. Gold conducts electricity. Copper conducts electricity. Know what I'm saying? So, if you read up on Article 6 of the Constitution, it says only gold and silver shall be real money. Only gold and silver. Only gold and silver. So this is constitutional money. How many of y'all got real money in your pockets? Could buy a house with that. You know? This information can be overwhelming in one shot. It's not. The reason why it seems overwhelming is because of the way we've been taught and brought up in school. So when it came to public school, you know what I'm saying? They were always switching us from different rooms, class to class. First you have home ec or whatever, the home class, then you got the reading class, then you got the math class, then you got the science class. And every class, I know personally for me, even when I was in college, every class I would put a book away, take out a different book for this subject. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like when I was done with that particular class, I would have to compartmentalize my mind and put that class back here and then bring the class I'm about to go into right here. You know what I'm saying? That's called schizophrenia. It's called schizophrenia. They were training us to be schizo. When you have to compartmentalize and separate everything, it's schizo. When in all actuality, all of those subjects, right, part of the 7 liberal arts, all of those complement each other. So what we thought would be complicated or complex because it's so spread out, it's really simple when you just pull everything into one source. Because English complements mathematics, because you can't comprehend mathematics if you can't read or understand the language that the mathematics is being presented in. But then mathematics equates to science because science is built off of mathematics. You see what I'm saying? And then you got words which are also built off of mathematics, which equates to science, which equates to how the universe operates, because the universe operates off of science, and the science we call is nature. But nature is just mathematics. You see? If we were taught in school like that, there wouldn't be a need to have all these different classes. You know what I'm saying? But they were training us to be schizo, so we would have to compartmentalize, divide and conquer. Divide the brain and conquer each part individually. But you can't conquer the brain as a whole. When it's locked as a whole and that pineal gland is resonating and the electrical current is flowing through it, and then it becomes hard like an eggshell, it becomes hard like that. When your pineal becomes like that in your brain, it's game over. Because now all thoughts, all subjects become one, become focused, they become concentrated. So this information is not difficult. Everything is built on law. And I'm learning this as I grow, that everything is built off of law. So if I would actually apply the principles of what I understand from law to my life, I'll be exactly where I see myself being. So, it's a blessing. To have people who support you, have people who are behind you, and have people who resonate with you. You know what I'm saying? That's what you call family. And that's what trust is based off of: family. Family, 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 family. On this note, I will end with this. Let me see. What's the date today? And the 16th of Thursday. The 16th of this month, February 16th at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. I will be giving my first live broadcast of the Zodiac podcast. And the Zodiac podcast is the school. The Zodiac podcast is the school that I'm talking about. And the school is going to be on the move. It's going to be on the go. And it's going to be able to reach millions of people. You know, my goal personally is to, well, you know, I'm a Libra. And I'm just going to be straight up with you. I hate unfairness. I hate injustice. So, we've been getting played by our own. And we've been getting played by foreigners. I know when motherfuckers is lying. And I know when they're telling the truth. And I also know when they're holding back. Which to me, I still consider lying. So, I'm personally going to make... This is why I personally make it an effort. Or make it a conscious decision to break this information down as simple as possible. Because it stops the people taking advantage of us from taking advantage of us. Because you can't keep treating someone bullshit medication if you heal them. Because if you heal them, there's no need for them to come back. So if the hospitals actually healed people, they would go out of business. Meaning that if conscious people, so-called conscious people, so-called good people, actually helped people, then they wouldn't be able to make that much money. They wouldn't be able to generate that much notes because they wouldn't have to come back. So I'm operating in a way where I don't want you to come back. I want you to be able to go and show someone else how to do the same. This is how we progress. And this is what the Zodiac podcast is about. I'm tapping into all elements, all signs, all personalities, because we all got a purpose and we all got a job to do. So we're going to meet up on the Zodiac podcast. So that will be the first broadcast, and that will be on the 16th, which is not this Thursday, but the following Thursday of this month. And, you know, we're going to go from there. It will be live and it will be on YouTube. It will be live streamed on YouTube. So I'm getting everything prepared. It's kind of why I've been on a little bit of a hiatus. Been getting my mind right. You know what I'm saying? In my approach. And we'll just go from there. So family, appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Hope this video helpful. And we'll be in touch. Peace.